At this time, we include our children and our youth to have a special time down at the front of the sanctuary for our moments with the young, the youthful of our congregation. We invite our children, our youth, anybody who feels childlike. We're all a part of this little special time. And so I have a little special moment for the children and youth of our congregation on this Palm Sunday. You see, I'm holding palm branches. Yesterday and the day before, tried to get around to everybody to deliver some palm branches so that the young people had palm branches to wave on Sunday morning for this Palm Sunday. And it's what we do to commemorate that very first Palm Sunday when Jesus came into Jerusalem to celebrate the Feast of Passover. People saw him and the disciples coming down the road, and they wanted to have an impromptu celebration. So they did this by just doing whatever they could. It was happening right before their eyes. And so they reached up, and along the streets and the roads, there were palm trees and trees that kind of looked like this, that had flowery, leafy branches that went out. And so they ripped those down. They waved these to celebrate Jesus and the disciples coming into Jerusalem. They also took off their coats. They had an outer covering. We kind of, modern day, it looks kind of a little bit like a robe, but they wore a little outfit underneath, and they covered it with an outer outfit called a cloak. And they put that on the ground to make a royal carpet. They didn't have a fancy red carpet like we do here in the sanctuary. They had to make one on their own, and so they did that with their outer coats as well. And they had a wonderful welcome of Jesus into Jerusalem on that Palm Sunday. One thing that I also wanted to bring out about that Palm Sunday is the choice of animal that Jesus rode in on. Jesus chose an animal to help convey the love of God, the kindness of God, the humbleness that Jesus was carrying out his ministry. And usually when people come into a town victoriously, or a city, they do so riding on something very majestic. But Jesus picked a little donkey to ride in on, and that we're going to get more into that in our sermon, in our reflection. Animals do indeed help carry some of the burdens of our lives. And I've been thinking about this these past 3 weeks as everything has been shutting down. Schools have been held online. We can't go to do all the sporting stuff that we like to do. Can't go to our friends' house as much as we like to do. And so for those of us who have pets in our lives, we have been delighted with spending some extra special time with our pets. Our pets, even if they're little and teeny, from goldfish and hamsters all the way up to cats and dogs, and maybe you know some, I know all of you, I don't think any of you have donkeys, but if you know someone with donkeys and horses, all the way up to that, all size animals, all help with relieving some of the anxieties of the day. They look at us with their big eyes. They're so excited to be around us. We can pet them and love them, and by doing that, a lot of the stresses of our lives are able to be relieved. And so we do indeed give thanks for our little animals. I thought of them this week as I found this little prayer that gives thanks for the pets of our lives. And I invite you to pray this prayer with me now. Creator God, as the days lengthen and as the world gets smaller, as we're not able to go out and can't do much, we give you thanks for the animals that are all around us. We are grateful for the cats who purr on our laps, for dogs eager to go for walks, for birds chirping outside our windows and squirrels scampering across the grass, each of them a reminder that much of life continues uninterrupted, regardless of our worry. Recognizing, God, that there is so much that we cannot control, we delight in the company of our animals. We give thanks that some of them rely on us for their every need, and there are others who rely on what you have provided for in your creation. God, as each one of us struggles with the uncertainty of this season, wondering when and how it will end, what will happen after it ends, we rejoice in the creatures, great and small, who bring us comfort, offer us needed company, and teach us to delight in life's simple pleasures. Amen. Well, thank you again for providing the artwork for today, and we invite you to provide more artwork for Easter. Thank you for the many ways that you share your skills and talents with our congregation. And normally I'd say let's go back to our seats and children's moment, but stick around now as we read and reflect on more passages from Palm Sunday.